9 million invasive feral hogs in Texas have caused serious damage to cornfields. Do you know why the number of invasive wild boars has increased rapidly in recent years? How can Texans cope and dramatically reduce species numbers? Let's explore this journey in the following video. According to the alarm about wild boar reproduction in the Atlantic newspaper, from the appearance in some states in the southeast region of the United States, wild boars have now been present in at least 39 U.S. states within 30 years. They cause serious damage to cornfields amounting to about $2.5 billion annually and are a source of disease spread and ecosystem destruction, competing with other wildlife for food. Live in large herds in the southeastern states of the United States, from Florida to Texas, extending to New Mexico. Wild boars have a scary reproduction rate, up to 20 to 25%, so their growth rate is quite high. Particularly in Texas today, which is considered the state with the most wild boars in the United States, with about 2.6 million animals, a number that farmer associations say may be higher than official figures from the state. And according to these reports, damage to cornfields caused by wild boars is up to $500 million annually and is increasing with their growth rate. According to researchers, wild boars used to be breeds of pigs that roamed freely and escaped into the deep forests many years ago. Later, they transformed and adapted to become wild animals. In the past few years, nature conservation policies and better animal disease control have created conditions and environments for wild boars to develop rapidly. They are animals that are able to adapt to climate. Very high environment. The number of wild pigs can double in just 4 to 6 months when they have a food source from cornfields. Wild boars are the obsession of farmers and the government of Texas, as well as any state where they are destroying corn lands. From tearing up the plots of land that have just been sown with corn seeds to destroying the corn plants that are about to be harvested. Although farmers and government agencies have made many efforts, it is difficult to completely eradicate the wild boar epidemic and can only be partially controlled. In the United States, although science has demonstrated the ability to control feral pig populations using biological agents, sterilization, and repelling, laws still limit research, testing, and application of these methods. According to regulations, farmers and hunting organizations can only use traps, cages, and hunting weapons. Among them, wild boar hunting is increasingly popular because of its appeal as an outdoor adventure sport. October is wild boar hunting season in Texas using hunting dogs. Brave hunters not only from Texas, but from other states have flown to participate in the hunts. Hunters like to hunt wild boars because of their intelligence, which stimulates hunters to seek trophies and hone their hunting skills. But wild boar is not just a hobby for hunters, it is a challenge for most states that have to deal with wild boar. Get the Hogs Out to Texas is an annual feral hog hunting contest held by the Texas Department of Agriculture from October to December, open to all counties in Texas. The contest does not award individual prizes, but rather awards to the county that kills the most wild boars among the 254 participating counties. Wild boar trapping is an effective way to reduce or control wild boar populations that infest cornfields. Dealing with wild boars is done with a baited trap, followed by humane introduction into the trap. When choosing a location to trap wild boar, look for signs of wild boar activity. Cornfields where feral hogs have been foraging have caused damage indicating there are feral hogs in the area, but these areas may actually be the best places to set traps. Setting traps in multiple locations can also increase your success. Remember that vehicle access to the trap is often necessary to load and unload the trap. You must also consider public safety by ensuring that you are licensed to hunt. To increase the likelihood of successfully dealing with wild boars, placing bait in front of the trap area before you set the trap will attract feral pigs to the site and help them get used to their new food source. Try to limit access to the trap area, but don't let all the bait go, otherwise the wild boar may move on. Once wild boars know where to find food, you can set traps. Install the trap in the location where the bait was placed first. Lock the trap door tightly in the open position. The goal is to get the pigs in and out of the trap. Create a bait trail into the trap. Monitor the trap with a tracking device to ensure wild boar are ready to enter the trap for at least 3 nights. When wild boars frequently enter the trap, place the trigger and bait along the inside of the trap leading to the trigger position. Baiting along the edges of the trap leading to the trigger will allow more wild boar to enter the trap before the mechanism is activated. Popular baits include dried corn. To deal with invasive wild boars, installing fences is an effective and simple measure. By using a key, we can set up a simple but effective trap system. First, choose a suitable location and dig holes deep enough to place the dowels. Next, be sure to install the dowel firmly into the ground to avoid being pushed over by pigs or other animals. Then, connect the posts with steel wire or strong wire to create an impenetrable barrier. Finally, install traps at strategic points to capture wild boars. In this way, we can protect the area without using complicated or environmentally harmful methods. What do you think about this coping method? In my opinion, the Texan people's method of coping by building fences will prevent wild pigs from invading cornfields. If you support this method, please leave comment number 1. In addition, Texas has enacted a law allowing wild boar hunting by helicopter, attracting many hunters because of its novelty and adventure. To hunt by plane, hunters must become certified after a half-day training course and pay about $700 per flight hour, with a minimum requirement of 3 hours. Although each hunting trip can cost up to $2,000, helicopter service companies say they have long lists of subscribers, including hunters from New York, California. Excited with helicopter hunting. This is a new form of hunting in Texas, with 138 companies licensed to organize wild boar hunting by helicopter, according to data from Fox News. Last September, there was also a competition with 14 participating teams, including 4 hunters per team, competing against each other. The winning team, Hallsville, won with the feat of taking down more than 200 wild boars in one night, and the heaviest one was 287 lbs. If you love hunting or love adventure in the woods, maybe you should go hunting wild boars in Texas on a trip to try it out. It will be a memorable experience that not everyone can easily have. Comment 1 if you support the Texas people organizing the hunt to create relationships between states and create an exciting experience for those who love adventure. Zero if you agree with the installation of traps in areas near fields. Thank you for watching the entire video. Click the notification button to watch the latest videos on how to deal with wild boars.
Wild pigs are invasive animals that cause extensive damage to agriculture and property in California. According to estimates, there are about 200,000 wild boars living in the state, with numbers growing. Wild boars can destroy crops, dig up soil, and cause traffic accidents. California farmers are facing a difficult challenge in controlling feral hog infestations in their urban areas and wheat fields. The situation has become so bad that politicians and groups of senators have introduced legislation to exterminate destructive animals such as wild boars. However, no one can be certain about the end of the wild boar world, and controlling them has become a significant challenge. Everywhere, wild boars are creating a state of emergency. They roam the streets of California, causing chaos in neighborhoods and posing a risk to retirement communities. Police are trying to drive away the wild boars, but the problem is not only in the US but has spread to many countries around the world. In Poland, Israel, Rome, and Puerto Rico, wild boars have become such a serious problem that warnings to beware of wild boars on signs are no longer enough to protect the population from their encroachment. In Hong Kong, a dynamic urban town, wild boars have dominated the streets, and the police have faced their brutality. The sightings put a glaring spotlight on the animal's invasive situation, but the problem is much worse in California, where feral swine have become a real nightmare. In Hong Kong, wild boars attacked police and caused temporary chaos in the urban area. While this scene is inconvenient and disturbing, it is not to the extent of causing major damage to agriculture and infrastructure, like in California. Hong Kong police have had to apply special measures to deal with the dominance of wild boars on the streets. A California farmer and his crew are facing a wild boar invasion. This invasion has made the front page of California monthly magazines, and it is causing hundreds of millions of dollars in damage each year. The cause of this situation is the remarkable increase in the number of wild pigs and their adaptation to the agricultural environment. To control feral boar infestations, many methods have been tested. One of the popular methods is to catch pigs using traps. But there are not enough traps and money to pay, so it is unknown when we will be able to drastically reduce the wild boar population and put them on the extinction list. Therefore, some California farmers have found a way to catch pigs from the sky. This is done through the use of helicopters to find and capture pigs. Ryan Ashcraft is the operator of Ashcraft Aviation, a helicopter hog hunt. He said hunting pigs from the sky is the most effective method to control feral pigs. Ryan and his girlfriend Morgan often ride helicopters to kill wild boars. They killed tens of thousands of pigs during their careers and became a source of salvation for many local farmers who came to help when they saw wild boars ravaging their property. Wild boars have the potential to harm humans, especially when they feel threatened. However, there is more than one way to control feral pigs. Bubba Ortiz, a California farmer, has been catching feral hogs for more than 30 years and has developed very effective feral hog trapping methods. Ortiz can trap hundreds of pigs each week, helping to control their numbers and protect pastures and crops. Although wild boars are capable of carrying diseases, this does not prevent Californians from grilling wild boar meat and using it in their daily menu. However, Ryan Ashcraft and Morgan warn that people should not sympathize with these feral pigs, as controlling them is a way to help farmers and landowners protect their properties and maintain agricultural infrastructure. The feral swine problem is becoming a significant challenge for farmers in California and many other parts of the world. The worrying increase in the number of wild boars and the destruction they cause require strong intervention to control the situation. Measures such as catching pigs from the sky and trapping pigs on the ground have been applied to deal with this problem. But controlling wild boars is still a difficult task and requires continuous efforts on the part of the industry. Farmers and those who resist their intrusion. Do you have a better way to handle it? Please let us know in the comments below. Thank you, and let's continue watching the video.
In the journey of catching devilfish. For them, this is an indispensable part of a daily life. Devilfish often hide deep underground, living on the mud surface in fresh water and salt water areas. To catch them in lakes full of water, people have used sophisticated fishing nets. Pretty much immigrants passed this technique down through generations. They rowed boats out into the middle of the lake area, combined with exploring nature to create memorable memories. Immersed in the natural landscape, they choose the right place and time to cast their nets. While waiting for the fish to get caught in the net, the man told about the origin of the devilfish. They say that the fish originated in Asia and was introduced to the US in the 1970s. When it was time to harvest, he slowly and gently pulled up the net. This is necessary because when devilfish are pulled quickly, they can become panicked and pose danger to the fisherman. The first time the net was pulled up, they harvested many small devilfish. Looking at their wide open mouths and stiff fins, you can understand why they are called devilfish. Avoid letting fish fins prick your hands, as they can cause painful injuries. By looking at it, we can see that this way of catching fish is very delicate and effective. The fish were caught in the net, and the dense mesh kept them contained within the net. As he pulled up the net, the fish began to float out of the water. Each fish in turn was removed and placed in the boat. An estimated 2 million devilfish are caught every year, a relatively small number given their population, but an important part of protecting the environment and maintaining the natural balance in this area. From another methods of catching devilfish, Americans have found another solution to deal with this invasive fish. They created spears to hunt them. In swamp areas, the amount of water is quite low, which is convenient for finding and catching devilfish. As you can see, he clearly saw the presence of devilfish right in the swamp. They clearly reveal their bodies above the water surface. Water stagnates starting from the fin on their head. So the fisherman followed it, using his homemade spear and galloping towards the fish, his steps on the swamp feeling as light as stepping on clouds. As he approached, so the spear's shining hinge was lowered and the fingers were firmly held on the devilfish's wing. The catch of the devilfish happened very quickly, more than the times he had tried before. Even though the devilfish was heavy, and finally the fisherman was so happy that he finally succeeded with catching the devilfish. But don't you ever think that hunting devilfish on the water is always easy? In areas with more water, we need boats to move around. But those brave people constantly searched for traces of devilfish on the boat, leading the way on the water like true divers. So when the fisherman discovers the devilfish, he quickly threw his spear towards the fish with great force. Many people really ask me, can you eat devilfish? Well, the question is, I will show you how to prepare the devilfish that I harvested. We harvested a lot of fish. I will choose the biggest one to show you. We will clean it first, and then I will separate the fish belly to remove the internal organs. Its skin is very thick. It is difficult to separate them. So you should be more careful with your cooking utensils. After a while of fiddling with the fish's belly, I was able to make a cut enough to handle the inside of the fish. After cleaning, we will prepare the ingredients to put in the fish belly. Garlic, onions, and a little coriander are needed to bring out the aroma of fish meat. So after I put the vegetables in the stomach, I will tie it tightly with a string. Now I'm going to put it in the oven for a few hours. Some people who eaten it say that its taste is identical to chicken. But to be honest, me personally, I really feel like it is quite a bit similar to the shrimp when it comes to the taste. It is almost dark. Now let's bring the devilfish and enjoy it. As I expected, it smells of seafood. Its skin is still very hard. I will peel it off and enjoy it now. It is so wonderful. This type of fish isn't only delicious, but also versatile in preparing dishes. To do this, you can start by boiling it before continuing with the cooking process. Boiling will make this fish easy to handle. When this type of fish comes into contact with boiling water, its outer skin will separate easily, eliminating torment and creating favorable conditions for further processing. Then you can easily fry it, steam it, or cook it in a soup. Would you like to try this dish one day? Please comment below in the comments section to let everyone know. And for now, let's continue watching the rest of the video. Hawks are now becoming one of the birds that threatens the ecosystem in the UK. They often attack the feathers of Canada geese and create fear in wild rabbits. Every time hawks appears, these creatures always face potential danger. The numbers of wild rabbits and Canada geese have decreased greatly since their introduction. This situation is reminiscent of the need to protect the natural balance and biodiversity in the UK's natural environment. This poses an important challenge in managing and protecting birds of prey, such as hawks, and at the same time maintaining the balance between species in the country's ecosystem. Hawks are a special bird in the UK, strictly protected and not allowed to be hunted. This history of hawks in Britain is truly a species conservation success story. Through decades of resistance in the 1950s and 1960s, hawks were almost completely exterminated due to the use of pesticides. However, thanks to a focus on conservation and a strong legal regime, hawks have had a chance to recover. Now, they are considered a precious species and are protected to ensure the survival of the species. Regulations and laws in the UK have established a mechanism to protect hawks from hunting, while ensuring strict controls on the conservation and protection of these birds. Crows are one of the noisiest animals. They also bring terrible fear to people. Passers-by told of crow attacks, making them very scared every time they passed through areas where crows lived. Even small animals like squirrels and wild rabbits must be careful, because crows have a habit of attacking and eating raw meat from these small animals. The noisy and ferocious presence of crows creates an atmosphere of fear in the community, causing people to always be more vigilant and finding ways to protect themselves from unwanted attacks from these animals. To control crow populations, many countries, including the UK, have introduced licensing hunting of crows. Currently, the regulation of crow hunting in the UK is regulated by the Department of Agriculture, Food and the Environment. To be licensed to hunt crows, people need to participate in training courses on crow hunting and comply with safety regulations. Experts say that moderate hunting of crows can help control the crow population and prevent their negative impacts on the environment. However, this measure needs to be implemented carefully to limit negative impacts on other animals and the ecosystem. According to a report by the UK Wildlife Conservation Society, RSPB, every year, between 40,000 and 60,000 crows are hunted in the UK. This number has decreased from 70,000 in 2010. Eagles are also one of the scariest birds. There have been open-air sheep farms attacked by eagles. This mother sheep about to give birth was injured by an eagle attack. When the owner found out, the lambs didn't survive. He discovered through the camera that the eagle had attacked and kidnapped the lamb. On some other farms, sheep were also attacked by eagles. They were seriously injured and were rescued promptly. Even wild animals, like rabbits, are being targeted as well. Eagles are often protected by conservation and environmental regulations in many countries because they are rare animals and important in maintaining ecological balance. Hunting or harming birds of prey is a violation of the law and may result in criminal prosecution. Strict monitoring and management of eagle hunting is necessary to ensure conservation and protect eagle species from extinction. Farms need to manage and monitor their flocks well to ensure they are not attacked by these birds again. This rock pigeon has created a very serious pollution situation in the city. Their waste is spread everywhere, making the city's green space dirty. Even on newly sown fields, they came and ate everything. This has spread fear among the UK population. To cope with this situation, people have taken emergency measures, trying to control and minimize the negative impacts of rock pigeons in their habitat. Pigeon hunting in the UK is subject to a number of specific rules. The time for this hunting activity usually takes place from July to October. To carry out this activity, participants can only use permitted weapons, including rifles, shotguns, and slingshots. Additionally, pigeon hunting may only be carried out in permitted areas, such as agricultural areas, forests, and designated areas. We should not forget that pigeon hunting needs to be carried out in a considered and a reasonable manner. Experts say that moderate hunting can help control pigeon populations and prevent their negative impacts on the environment. However, other animals and natural ecosystem, if the problem of these invasive species occurs at a normal rate, you should treat it with other measures, such as repelling them, as this measure will not hurt them or any other animals. Thank you for watching this video till here, and let's continue watching the rest of the video. Canada geese began invading Australia in 1860 when they were brought to Australia by an immigrant from England and released in Melbourne Park. By 1900, Canada goose numbers had increased significantly, with an estimated 1,000 living in Australia. In contrast, snow geese had a similar journey. Brought by immigrants around 1880, released in Melbourne Park, and by 1900, Australia had seen about 1,000 snow geese. Currently, the Australian government estimates that there are about 500,000 Canada geese and 200,000 snow geese living in the country. In addition, negative impacts of Canada geese and snow geese occur in urban areas. They pollute the environment by dumping feces and garbage on lawns and streets. Their noisy sound also creates nuisance for the community. In Richmond Park, Canada geese have been an especially big problem. Not only do they have difficulty maintaining the park's green landscape, but they have also become a threat to the safety and livelihood of local people and animals. Their behavior of attacking people and causing harm to natural ecosystems has forced the Australian government to take timely countermeasures. Field hunting of geese has been proven to be the most effective method of controlling the Canadian and snow geese populations in Australia. Data from Australian government estimates that hunting has reduced the populations of these two goose species by about 20% each year. However, to ensure safety for the community and the environment, the hunting process needs to comply with some strict rules. Using highly accurate hunting tools is an important factor, helping to limit indiscriminate shooting and increase the ability to kill effectively. Large open areas in Australia, including agricultural areas, river banks, lakes, ponds, parks, and nature reserves, are open to goose hunting. This is to control and minimize the negative impact of goose populations on the environment and the communities. To obtain a hunting license in Australia, individuals need to meet certain conditions, including being above 18 years old, having completed hunting safety training, possessing a hunting license, and having a hunting license issued by the Australian government. This is important to ensure those who participate in hunting activities to have adequate skills and understanding of hunting safety. Wetlands in Australia often see significant presence of Canada geese, including sites such as Macquarie Wetlands, located in southern New South Wales, Coorong Wetlands in southern South Australia, and Kololo Wetlands in southern New South Wales, eastern Queensland state. These sites are not only important for Canada geese breeding, but also important for the migration in the Australian context. Australian hunters often use small boats to access swamp areas where geese are abundant. When they discovered a flock of geese, they approached gently and used hunting tools to carry out the hunting process. The shot geese will be harvested and brought back for processing. Each year, about 100,000 snow geese and 200,000 Canada geese in Australia are targeted for hunting, which is a significant number that helps alleviate pressure from goose populations, which are down about 20% annually. The Australian swamp rat is a rodent native to North America that has invaded this country quickly and strongly, originating from their introduction to Australia in the 19th century. For ornamental purpose and hunting, swamp rats adapted well to their new environment and began to reproduce at an astonishing rate. Swamp rats commonly occur in wetland areas such as swamps, lakes, rivers, and ponds, as well as riparian areas, grasslands, and forests. According to Australian government estimates, the swamp rat population currently reaches about 100 million, accounting for about 80% of the world's total. This impressive figure has created many problems for the Australian government. The swamp rat, an omnivorous species, has caused many negative consequences for the Australian swamps. They can eat grass, trees, and many other types of plants, leading to the degradation of vegetation, affecting biodiversity in the area. And at the same time, they can also prey on native prey such as birds, frogs, and fish, causing a significant decline in native animal populations. In addition, their excrement and waste in the swamp also pollutes the environment, affecting water quality. To control the situation, the Australian government has introduced a number of measures. However, it is still a big challenge to maintain the ecological balance of the swamp and protect its biodiversity. Hunting swamp rats in Australia is considered the most effective way to control the population. Although expensive and difficult to control large populations, it remains an important method of minimizing marsh rat invasions. Swamp rat hunting in Australia is often carried out by professional hunting teams, using various types of hunting equipment. These hunting parties often focus on swamp, grassland, and forest areas, where swamp rats often live and migrate. To have the right to hunt swamp rats in Australia, participants need to comply with certain conditions, including being aged 18 or above, completing hunting safety training, having a hunting license, and especially the hunting license issued by the Australian government should be established. This license is valid for 1 year and requires application and payment of prescribed fees. According to Australian government estimates, every year about 20 million swamp rats become targets of hunting activities. Despite population declines of about 10% each year, marsh rat populations continue to increase. This highlights the importance of implementing a consistent and a hunting approach to achieve effective control of swamp rat populations in Australia.
So since these solutions have been effective in preventing the growth of colonies of some invasive species, do you believe in any other better solution? If so, please don't forget to share your comments and opinions down below. Plus, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to support our channel with our upcoming videos. And lastly, don't forget to share this video with all your friends so that they can watch it and enjoy it as well.